We're rolling. Hey, what's up, everybody? It is the Ace Micheals show. I just had a unique experience today for the first day in my life. I listened to about half of a Taylor Swift album, and I'm going to tell you, I listened to about half of it, and that's a milestone for me. I don't know what to say. She's a prolific writer. She's a great singer. I had one experience one day where I watched a bunch of her music videos back to back, and I started thinking she was the most beautiful woman in the world for a few minutes as well. I'm on the fence. I mean, she's no Ella Fitzgerald, in my opinion. She's no Aretha Franklin. She's no Whitney Houston. But she is Taylor Swift, and she's broken more records and done more things that you have to take your hat off if you're wearing a hat. Give her credit, because that's hard to do. To be in this industry as long as she has and do as much as she has is a real, true, rare thing. You just don't see people kill it like that. So hats off to Taylor Swift. I did listen to half an album. I maybe go back and listen to the rest of it, but that's what's up. If you have any thoughts on Taylor Swift or life in general and you want to be on the show, we'd love to have you. All you have to do is say, hey, man, I want to be on your show, and we'll get you on the show, and you can speak your mind, voice your opinion, suggestions, convictions, beliefs. You know how it goes, and that's what's up. Today, dun, 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 my guest is so gorgeous. Please welcome to the show the talented and effervescent Miss Katy Monroe. Yes, that one, the real one, is here on the Ace Micheals show. Katy, how you doing today?
I'm so happy to be here. But I must say I'm a little bit jealous. You know, Taylor Swift is a tall blonde too. And you were going on, and I was thinking, oh, what am I, chopped liver over here?
You know what? I was working a tall blonde angle. See, I was getting the people. I was planting seeds. See, I'm in the broadcast, but see, we planting the seeds to then give them the big thrill. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So some people were probably driving, and when they heard your name, they were like, oh, my God, I thought he was going to have Taylor Swift on. But no, he went one step higher with Katy Monroe.
Oh. I love it.
I love being in control of people's destinies. I love that. So, Katy, I don't even know where to start except at the beginning. So you're a singer.
Yes.
And you're killing it in Vegas, which is not hard to even, some people can't even get that thing going. Like, it's not easy. That's what I meant to say. It's not hard, but it's not easy. How in the heck did you get here to this level?
Oh, gosh. Well, you know, it goes way back. I grew up in Indiana, out in the cornfields.
Oh, my God. I'm trying to picture you with that platinum blonde hair and those two friends in Indiana. Were you like a country girl?
I was never a country girl.
So
I grew up in the country, but I was never a country girl.
In that environment, I can't imagine.
I never fit in. I was the tallest in the class. I had the biggest chest. I was blonde. I loved glamour. I loved lights, and I couldn't wait to leave. Although I'm very proud of where I come from, and I love everyone there. I was really happy when I took a job at 14 modeling, and then 16 singing, and I kind of never looked back.
And kids can kind of be vicious at that age. Like, I'm sure, did you run into like some bullies or some kids who didn't understand? Like, Katy Monroe is so busty and tall. And then years later, they're like, damn, she was busty and tall.
I say, it's funny. I have an OnlyFans, okay?
Oh, wow.
And I actually have elementary school guys that are my OnlyFans that I went to elementary school with. And it's so funny because I did feel like the ugly duckling. And then things changed. And when they did, I think I was like 18 or 19, things changed. I went on a cruise ship and grew into myself, so you'd say. And I found out that being tall was actually really nice, and having a big chest could actually work for me.
I bet it didn't hurt. Now, I am a tall guy. I'm 6'2". My mother is taller than me.
Oh, really?
My sister is taller than my mother.
Well, that's unusual.
Well, we're from the Midwest. Well, I'm from Kansas City originally.
Okay.
Home of the champions football. I'm sorry. Too soon? Anyway. It has been, I think, 3 times in the last few years. But anyway, too soon? I don't want to rub it in. I don't want to pull the Band-Aid off. But they are world champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Thank you. Anyway, so you grew up. Did you come first to Vegas, or you went to LA, or did you travel the world?
Started modeling at 14, started a theme park at 16.
Whoa, you can't just drop that in. You started your own theme park?
No.
Oh, okay.
Started singing at a theme park.
I was going to say, I was like, wait a minute now. Okay.
No, my dad made me get a job at, like most of us at 15, 16. Mm-hmm. And I started at Arby's, and I actually skipped school skipped high school to go audition for a theme park.
Arby's now needs to change their slogan too. We've got the beef, and we had Katy
For 2 months.
for 2 months. That's hot.
Then I took the theme park job, and I said, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
And so that was a real different experience. So I was like professionally singing at 16.
And you wanted to be a singer or an actress, or you just wanted to be in show business?
Just be in show business. I just love everything to do with entertainment.
Uh-huh.
Whatever it is. I don't care. When I was younger, it was always Katy Monroe the singer, Katy Monroe the singer. Then it was Katy Monroe the actress, and now it's Katy Monroe, more the personality. They know me for my height and my big boobs. Whatever it is, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm a happy woman.
Well, since you're comfortable talking about your boobs, and it's so bad. I'm such a guy. Like, you just explained like a whole resume of valid entertainment things that you've done, and I'm like, well, let's talk about these boobs though. So
I love my boobs. I'm fine with that.
So are your boobs enhanced, or they're your boobs?
Well, I was a 36H, and last year.
Oh my God, me too.
I made yeah, right?
That's so crazy.
Wow.
Small
Well, we
world.
can share bras,
Mm-hmm.
And last year I decided to go a different route. So I did implants, and I'm 36G.
Wow.
A perky 36G.
And you're a married gal.
Yes.
So your husband, Mark, who I met in the lobby, he's an awesome guy, good-looking, handsome guy. But I'm sure that initiates some ballroom fights and stuff when guys, I mean, you get a lot of attention, I would only imagine, right?
I've always gotten a lot of attention, more than I ever needed or could handle. So I feel I'm really lucky that way. But Mark is like, my husband is very, very chill and cool. We've been married a year and a half, and he's just happy to see me flourish and be my authentic self.
He'd have to be extremely supportive, because this is a career, and I know you'll attest to this. This is a career that ups and downs like crazy, and weirdos and psychos and pedos, and you could throw any O's you want on the end of it. They're everywhere in show business.
It's so true, and it's funny. I encountered it more. I have my own show on cruise ships, been around the world. I've done a lot of things, but until Vegas, Thank you, Las Vegas. I found all the weirdos, or they found me.
If only you knew how popular a saying for me that was around the studio. Only in Vegas. Only in Vegas.
I have to agree with you. I have heard every rumor about me. I'm mean. I hit someone. I beat someone. I bullied. And anyone that knows me knows that I'm like the sweetest person. I would never bully. I would never hurt anyone. I'm just want to be happy and everyone else be happy.
Now, being that you're tall, and you're gorgeous, by the way, but you're tall.
Thank you so much.
And we're in a generation now where this whole transgenderness is so popular.
Yeah.
Have you been mistaken for a man ever? Has someone come up to you and said, sir, are you a ma'am? Like, is that where?
Okay, I have so many stories with it. So I'll try to pick out a couple of the best ones. But I love transgender, I love drag queens, I love gay, I love straight, I love bi, whatever. I happen to be born a woman and happen to be a straight woman. But whatever anyone wants to do, I'm thrilled for them, and great, more power. But I've actually been hired for drag shows, and they don't tell people that I'm a woman.
Oh, now that's interesting.
And that's a lot of fun. I do that here.
Very interesting.
And in P-Town, which is like a very big drag gay community. And yeah, I mean, I've been asked, sometimes men will say, "Are you trans?" And I'll say, "No, I'm sorry, or I'll say, "No, I was born a woman." And they will have this disappointed look on their face. And I'm like, "I'm sorry." And I find myself saying, "I'm sorry." And I'm like, "Why are you saying that, Katy? You're apologizing for being born."
Listen, only in this generation do you have to, okay, so I've got this friend, Dave. Okay, and Dave and I, we do some business together sometimes. It doesn't matter. The point is, Dave's a guy, and I'm a guy. So we went to a meeting together one time, and Dave was parking the car. I went in to greet the clients and talk to them. And so I said, well, just a minute. Let's wait till my partner Dave gets here. And they were like, oh, okay. So now I got to explain. Dave, I will never ask a woman how old she is, but I would presume that you and I are in the same general area. So you would understand someone from the late 80s like Val Kilmer and how handsome Val Kilmer was.
Yes.
And his look.
Yes.
Right, with the spiked hair and the whole 90s sunglasses.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Dave was like a mirror image of Val Kilmer.
Okay.
Okay, he's a good-looking white dude, right? So we're talking at the meeting, and Dave comes walking in and says, "Oh, here's my partner." So the meeting whole tone shifted then, because they thought Dave and I were gay lovers.
Your
and they
partner.
were like, "Oh, your partner. Well, you two look really great together, and you two." And I said, "Whoa, wait a minute. We're not that types of partners. What do you think we're? No, me, Dave? No." But the world has changed, and again, I'm in the same boat with you. Like I love my homosexual friends. I love my Latino friends. I even love my Republican friends, but not in that way. But anyway, I accept and love everybody. But we are in a different generation. Like, did you know that the new Superman film is being cast? And the new Superman is in the script is going to be a bisexual man. For the first time in the history of super comics, Superman and Batman in the comics is going to be gay in the new Batman series, and Superman is going to be bisexual, at least bisexual.
I think it's great, and I know I can't remember her name, but there's a trans that's a playmate. Of the month. I think that's great, and trans are in the pageants and winning, and I just think it's fantastic.
Our Miss Nevada recently, in the last few years, was a transgender woman. I don't know if it's correct to say transgender woman or transgender man, but transgender person
I'm not sure
was
either.
Miss Nevada just like 2 years ago. So that blew my mind.
I just think it's the most important thing, and I struggled with it for many years, to live your authentic self, whatever that is, because we only have one life. So and there's only one of us on Earth. So you might as well be your best self, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I also want to say this, too, though. You are a very good-looking woman, and you fit a particular stereotype for me.
Thank you.
You have beautiful blue eyes, and you have the blonde hair, you have the full, luscious lips, and a great body. You kind of could remind me of Christina Aguilera-esque kind of vibe, but then you got Katy Monroe's vibe, which is even more important, because Christina's doing her thing, you're doing your thing. She's short power, and you're long, tall drink of water. So my question is, has your looks gotten in the way ever of you getting a job? Like, was there ever an opportunity that you walked away from and you knew, oh, they didn't hire me because of my looks?
Absolutely. 100%.
Really?
Absolutely. I really appreciate that comparison. I think Christina Aguilera is amazing.
She's something.
I have been compared to her or assimilated with her and many times, actually. She's had an amazing career, so good for her.
Right.
But yeah, there's been many times. I definitely like the blonde bombshell thing. That's what I like. And so that's how I present myself to the world. But I've done like Broadway tours and played different characters, and I can morph into different things. And a lot of times people want to put me in that stereotype of that I can only be a blonde bombshell, which is a wonderful thing, but it also can work against me because I'm so much more than that.
Right. And that's where people fall short, because you can be a lot more than certain things. Like, I had well, you'll hear the show eventually if you listen to our show. We had a film director in yesterday, and she's a popular lady here in Vegas. She's done a couple films. She just made a horror movie, and she said, well, there's going to be a sequel to the film, and Ace, if you're interested, she goes, I can totally see you as a mutant. And I was like, I didn't take offense to that. I was like, well, you know what? I can see your mama as a mutant. But anyway.
Yeah, I can see where you might take that.
I was like, okay, well, I guess that works. But in this industry and in life in general, people do typecast you. They look at you and they go, and I wondered if people would think, okay, you're so sexy, that they would think, well, you can't really be smart too. Because, come on.
They think I'm a
How
porn
could you be
star.
everything?
They think I'm a porn star, and they think that they have no idea that I'm like an accomplished singer, that I studied for 10, 12 years, that I've traveled the world singing. They have no idea. They just want to dismiss me as a porn star. I'm not a porn star. Not that I'm against that either.
Right. She's like, I'm down. Hey, $20 is $20,
That's
man.
right.
Come on.
We can talk about that.
So, and that's a true thing that you just brought up, because so I research my guests a little bit, because I don't want to know too much when we do the interview, because it's redundant for me to ask questions I already know the answers to, right? So when I looked you up, I saw that I was obviously like, she's a model. I get it. Okay. So then I looked and I saw some live performance clips, and I checked them out. And I have to be honest, I'm a transparent guy. I was actually very, very amazed. Like, this girl can sing. This girl can perform. She knows how to work the stage. And that's not my usual experience, especially with Las Vegas singers. There's been a lot of people I've seen. I'm not picking on anybody at Fremont Street. I'm just saying they might be performing at Fremont. They might be performing at Caesars, you know? And these are top venues. But I go and I see them, and I'm like, well, I get it. I know why she got booked, but she ain't all that. But I was really impressed with what you were doing. So I didn't know that you'd taken 10 years. You took 10 years of vocal training?
Yeah, I started when I was like 11, and it came down to take dance or vocal, and vocal tended to be my gift. I had this 8th grade music teacher that was from New York.
You speak like a singer, by the way. You have that singer's, like you can tell singers have this kind of voice like this when they're on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, singers have that like kind of raspy developed
Well, I've
voice
never
like
been told that.
Yeah,
so
you speak like a singer.
I love it. That's great. Yeah. It's been my livelihood for many years. And I took a cruise ship right after high school. A celebrity hired me, and I was their principal singer.
Wow.
And then that was really something. They flew me to Germany, and
wow,
this
congratulations!
little corn-fed, Indiana girl. And then it morphed into my 30s. Royal offered me my own show on a 6-star cruise ship, and it was called.
I presume that's better than a 1.5 star. I don't know what the stars represent.
6 stars, the absolute best that you can do. Top of the line luxury.
Because it could have been 6 out of 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what it was. I figured I better ask before I nod.
6 out of 6, baby. And
wow.
They said you're going to Monte Carlo, Saint-Tropez, Turkey, Thailand. You're going all around the world.
That sucks so bad.
Yeah, right? It was a tough life. And I had a housekeeper, and I had a guest stateroom, and I mean,
poor child.
Right, it was a tough time in my life. But I had this show called Miss Monroe XOXO that I put together with a 7-piece orchestra.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and did it all around the world in my 30s.
And now, so let me ask you let's go back to your trajectory and from the beginning, right? Now, were your parents encouraging this lifestyle for you, or were you one of those kids where you had to leave home and become famous and they still don't even know what you're doing out here?
Well, my parents raised me Nazarene. Okay. And I would say the most comparative religion would be like Mennonite. Mm-hmm. No makeup, no dancing, no anything.
You're completely opposite of that.
Yeah.
Right.
But luckily, my grandmother Monroe, because it is my real name, she was very, very open-minded, and my dad is very open-minded. Huh. So when they saw me flourishing, they encouraged me, but they were not stage parents by any means. When I did things, they weren't always there. I was a little envious of some of the kids that their parents were always encouraging them and pushing them. My parents didn't push me at all. If anything, they probably wanted me to be more simplistic or something, Yeah. But I was just born to stand out.
Are you the only child?
I have a younger brother, and he's quiet.
Really?
He's so
not
quiet.
In show business.
No.
He's not trying to do anything like that.
No, nothing like that. But I have a cousin that is in a band called Integrity that tours all over Europe for many, many years, and a country singer in the family that's in Tennessee. So it definitely does run into the Monroe side.
Very interesting. And then I would think, too, now, sometimes, I'm going to make this statement. Some people are going to be pissed off about it, but I don't care. But Christian people freak out sometimes about things. Like for you to be someone who loves God so much, and God gives you all this talent. Your talent comes from God.
Absolutely.
But sometimes Christian people be like, well, God doesn't want you singing in a dress like that. It's like, I don't think God is a fashion-conscious type of people. God gave you the ability to thrill these audiences for a reason. Just, you're out there to present the message and present the lifestyle that encourages other people to be free. But a lot of times Christian people, they really get bent out of shape about how you look and how your show might be kind of sexy.
Well, you hit it. And I remember in my early 30s, I did a show, and it was a rated R production show. Mm-hmm. And they really came down on me. Some friends did and said, you're doing porn and things like that. And I said, well, you know what? God made me sexual. God gave me this talent. God gave me this body. God gave me this. So I have a different opinion. And even some people here have said, I want good little Christian Katy. I am. But I'm also so much more than that. I'm a sexual woman.
Right.
I'm an entertainer. I like to morph into different characters. I'm an artist. So
Right.
that's who I am. I'm not just one thing.
Well, you got to be a fully rounded person. One of these comedians, I think it was, oh shoot, it might have been Whitney Cummings. I'm not sure, but this
She's funny.
female comedian, she was so funny, and she said, so I used to go to church, and they used to say, don't lust. Lust is a sin. Sex is a sin. Don't have sex. Don't share your body. Blah, blah, blah. She goes, and as a young teenage girl, I'm sitting there looking at this picture of Jesus, this hot guy with this sexy hair and this sexy hot beard, and he's tan. And I'm like, okay, how are you going to tell me not to have sex and then throw this, this Calvin Klein model up on the, and it was just a funny thing. It was like, yeah, I guess that does make sense. And, we have our issues in America with sexuality. Too much sexuality makes people super nervous. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to look at it. They don't want to think about it. But you had a stint in Playboy as well. You worked with Playboy.
Yeah.
And what was that like? Like to be in an environment where sex was all of a sudden it was okay. Be sexy as you want. Matter of fact, be more sexual.
Right. And I was taught I was married before. I was taught to save yourself till you're married. So I got married so I could have sex, okay? That's the truth, all right?
Don't hold back, Katy. What was really on your mind?
I got married to have sex. And then it would be okay, right? Then we could do anything we wanted. So I tested for centerfold twice when I was married. My husband was not down with it, okay?
Really?
But I guess I was just innately always a super sexual woman. So Playboy ended up hiring me as a bunny. I got to work at the mansion. I got to open some clubs. I opened the club here in Las Vegas, got my Playboy tattoo, my Playboy tramp stamp. I did open a club in New York. I got to do quite a few things with them. Was on the first season of The Girls Next Door.
Really?
Just briefly. Yeah, just briefly. I loved my time with Playboy. Like I said, I have a tattoo. It's a wonderful time in my life. I still am tied with them in many ways, and I'm really grateful for the whole experience.
Right on. Now, before we run out of time, because time is never a friend on the show, and I just got the message that we're going to a few more minutes. Let's talk about guys, okay? Because guys have a real problem with pretty girls. Like, guys love you when they meet you because you're pretty, and they know they can take you places, and you're going to attract attention, which makes them look like a bigger guy. But then something happens at some point, whether it's 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, something happens to these guys where the very thing they loved you for in the beginning becomes the thing that's the problem.
Absolutely.
You would agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And how have you dealt with that through your career? Because I'm sure, even before you were married, you probably dated someone.
Oh, yeah.
And they just freak out. Like, why are you going to... And you're like, why are you talking like that?
The number one thing I encountered when I was single was... I would meet someone, they would love me just the way I was, and then they wanted to trap me at their home and just sit there and wait for them. And, they wanted to take care of me, which is very, very sweet. But you can't take things away. And I was always a singer. I stayed home from some ship jobs. I stayed home from some different experiences. I didn't pursue, after testing twice for centerfold, I didn't pursue it. So, when I am in love, I love my man, I respect him and all this stuff, but it was really hard when they would strip pieces away. And then guess what? By the end, I wasn't myself anymore. And they didn't love that person because they didn't know that person. So they kind of, they did themselves, they did themselves in. So I left. And then same true with like here in Vegas. Sometimes people will love me for how I look, and sometimes they'll hate it. They don't want the attention, or maybe it takes attention away from them. And I feel so bad, but this is just the way it is, right? Some of us have certain gifts. Yeah. And it's undeniable, certain things about ourselves, So
now, do men make assumptions like you did Playboy, you're very sexy, you must be easy?
I would say so, but I've never had a one-night stand in my life.
Oh, really?
No.
I had like a couple of one-night stands on the same weekend, so it was kind of like a relationship, but they were definitely one-night stands. I'm just kidding.
But I can guarantee you, like, I don't mean this cocky, I mean this confidently. I feel like the luckiest woman, and you can probably tell by my eyes, like, I feel like the luckiest woman. I probably have had the best sex life of any woman on earth.
Really?
I'm very lucky. Even though I've not had some of the one-night stand I've had the best sex life. I feel like the luckiest woman on earth.
Wow.
in so many ways. So I think it's because I'm able to, with my person, I'm able to express myself and them express themselves too. And most people are always holding back. They're always was it inhibited, or I'm uninhibited. And so when people are with me, they're uninhibited. And I feel like that might be like a gift I have, and I'm glad. I'm so glad, because if you can't share that with your partner, your sexual partner, then who can you share it with?
Yeah, I believe that's true. So before we run out of time, let's talk about then women. We talked about men. Let's talk about women. And I'm just curious if you can give us, I would say maybe 3 to 5 things that from Katy Monroe's experience in show business, out of show business, being a voluptuous, beautiful woman all your life, what would you give as advice to women who are starting off, and that women that want to ultimately pursue the same type of career that you have? What would you say to them?
Oh, that's okay. I'll try to make points with that. First, be very certain. It takes a lot of work. It's not something that happens overnight. People say, I want to look like you. It's something you have to start really early on. I remember doing the Cindy Crawford workout videos when I was 12 years old. My parents did braces, always working out, always dancing, always working on self-improvement, and always taking the beauty thing to extreme, not having the food, not having the alcohol, not having the drugs, not having some of those things, getting to the gym. So be really certain that you're going to be disciplined about it, because it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of time, even surgical, however. And then also be kind. Be kind, because I've always operated with kindness, and no matter how anyone's treated me, I've been professional and operated with kindness, and I think that's carried me all of these years.
Oh, wow.
Even if it didn't feel like it was going to work out for me, it always comes full circle.
That's excellent. Excellent. Any other tips?
Let's see. Don't give up. When you have a lull in your career, just keep at it and keep the faith. I have my insecurities, and there's been so many times people said, aren't you going to stop and have kids and do this? No, I'm never going to stop. Never. My role may change, but I'm never going to stop. So don't give up.
I can't close the show stronger than that. Katy, how do we stalk you on social media? That's our next goal. We need to follow you. We need to sleep in your bushes. You know how we do. So
wait, I don't have a bush. Oh, wait, you're talking about something else.
Snap. Whoa. The carpet don't match the drapes. Oh, snap.
There's no carpet. No way. I'm Tall Blonde LV on OnlyFans. Tall Blonde LV on OnlyFans. I'm Miss Monroe, XOXOXO on Instagram. That's 3 Xos, Miss Monroe. And you can find me on Facebook. I'm getting ready to launch a new website. And I'm also, if I could touch base,
please.
I have a producer, and we're working on an album for the first time.
I did see that you were starting some new music, and I didn't know if you were going to make a whole album. I did see that one of your posts was mentioning that you were working on some stuff. So I'm going to squeeze this last question in. So since we're going to talk about your music real quick, tell me, what is Katy Monroe's favorite Katy Monroe song, and why?
My favorite song, like to my life?
To your own taste. What is Katy Monroe's best song?
Back in Black.
Back in Black.
AC/DC.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what is it about that song that you love?
Back in Black, hit the sack, been to hell. Yeah, everything about it just talks about a comeback, It's a bad mother,
You can say it.
Bad motherfucker, So anytime I feel like down or anything, that's right, I'm back. I'm back. Don't forget about me. I'm back, but not only, I'm back in black. I'm strong.
Right. And that has so many implications too, because you could be back, but be back in the red.
Yep.
But wouldn't you rather be back in the black
or white or this?
Exactly.
No, I'm coming back, and I'm coming back strong.
Yes, that's awesome. Awesome. Hey guys, it's Katy Monroe on the Ace Michael Show today. I've been blessed. This is going to be a great day, and you know how to follow her. Listen, you know what I say at the end of every show: live the life you love. Love the life you live. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show today.